Okay, so today we are going to be working on this power washer. It's a Dewalt 3100 PSI with a Honda. Very cool. Not a bad looking little unit. Yeah, it's for a local business here in town, and do them a favor here. Okay, let's get into it. All right, so they did say it runs, but it runs a little rough. The thing is that they said that they think that the carburetor is clogged up. Let's just go through the basics. Let's check spark and that. Sometimes it can be just as easy as something simple with these power washers. They do have a tendency of gumming up because they sit just like generators and things like that you don't use every day. Yeah, should be fun to get into this one. Looks like a fairly new unit. Let's dim the lights a little bit so we can see. Get you in there a little bit more. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, she got spark. Okay, hey, she pulls over pretty good. I always like to help the local businesses out because I just like to keep it local. I don't really like to support the big box stores too much. If you have a place in town that that you can go to, do it, please. There you go. It's not too bad, it's not too dark, and it's full. That's good. Alrighty. Obviously it's a 4-stroke. Let's try to crank it. Try to fire it just for a second. And see exactly what it's doing. Let's see if she's got gas in her. It smells a little turpentine-y, to be honest with you. All right. That's the fuel. Okay, that's on. Let's see if it'll just pop off and see exactly what it's doing. Let's open up the door. Safety first. Well, it seems like it's hunting, but where's the choke at? Has this got like one of those automatic chokes? It must. It must. Let's fire that back up again real quick. No, it's doing a bit of hunting, if you ask me. Let's get into that carburetor. Before we do that, let's do a fuel sample here. This is fairly new. Look how clean that is. Boy, if there was all this clean, we'd be out of business, eh? Look at how clean that is. Even the filter is not all that bad. All right. Yeah. Of course, sometimes it's got to be under load too, but I got a sneaky suspicion that it's hunting pretty good. And that, okay. Let's get a sample real quick to see how our fuel looks. Come on now. Don't you just love these little clamps here that Honda decided to start putting on there? There we are. Okay. Now let's open up the drain. Let's drain out quite a bit to see if there's any water in the fuel. Even if it don't sit outside, it could still get condensation and water in your fuel. Don't think that just because it's indoors that it can't do it, because it can. It basically, that's how it gets in there. Especially if you're storing it inside of a metal building and it heats up during the summer and then cools down during the winter and that. I'm going to go ahead and clean that carburetor. Put some new fuel in there. There's not much in there. So yeah, I'll bring you back when I'm all done draining this out. And we'll see what kind of fuel that we're working with. Alright, so pay attention to the way that these gaskets come off. Very important, because these holes here are very important. They're there for a reason. Alright, let's see how this linkage is gonna treat us here. Okay, yeah, that's nice. So we're just gonna go ahead and flip this up like this. Take this straight out. Okay. And then gently get this little spring off of there. I'll show you the two components. There. There's the rod and the spring. You can go ahead and leave this other items on there just fine. Okay, let's take this over and see if there's any kind of ethanol or anything like that that was left in there. And we're gonna put rec gas back in, non-ethanol, so we won't have that problem. All right, now it's draining out some of that gas that was in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, see how dark? I don't know if you can pick it up or not, but how dark, and there's a little bit of water actually I can see right here. Okay. Let's get something here. All right, there's 10 millimeter here. to the side. Don't forget your O-ring. I mean your little gasket. Okay, you might have to tap this with a little, there you go. Okay. Oh yeah, see there? Yep. She got some clog jets. Okay. Well, good thing that we're gonna put it in the ultrasonic. All right, let's get this float out of there. Inspect that needle. It's nice and pliable still. Okay, no rings on it. Alrighty, let's get at that jet there. Sounds like the boys are getting in early next door. I can hear the vehicles pulling up. Let's see here. You can see the ethanol even on here too. Yeah. Oh yeah, that thing is clogged. Let's see. All right, put that. Alrighty. Yeah. Not too bad. All right. Let's get this thing in the machine and get it nice and cleaned up for our friends. Alrighty. Let's take our handy dandy little screen here. Put all our little bits in there. There you go. Set that right down in there. Let's see if our float is doing floating things. There we go. Submerge it a little bit. Let it pop up a couple times. And that's all you really need. Shake it around. All right. Now, drop our carb down in there. And drop our bowl in there. Also, and yeah, let's cook it up. Okay, so it's been about 25 minutes. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, nice and clean. That's what we want to see. Very nice. Yes. No more of that gunk on there. Very cool. All right, I'm going to rinse this all off so I'm not introducing water to the system. Blow it all out, dry it out, and then we'll reassemble. It's just to show you how clean these things get. A little bit of cleaning goes a long way with a carburetor, especially the jets. Let me show you real quick on this particular model. Now this is what I usually use to rot out my jets, but look, it can't even go in there. It's clear, but then I get a smaller one from this tag and it goes right through there, see? So just fool with some of these little, you can even use a bread tie with the jacket off of it. So yeah. Then make sure that this goes all the way through. Physically do it. Don't rely on your carburetor spray to guess. I like to see the rod going through all those holes and that, just to make sure everything is, because like I said, they're very small. Okay, and drop it down in there. Okay, make sure we can see it on the other side going through, which we can see it down there. Okay, put your jet back in there. Don't over tighten these. They don't need to be super tight, but they don't need to be super loose either. As soon as it seats, just give it just a little bit of a, not even a quarter turn, just give it like a little snug, that's all. Like that, it's seated, and then I just give it like just a little snug, that's it. Okay. Now we are going to put our needle back in. Just flip this upside down, slide that in there like so, kind of let it dangle. Slide that right down in there. Okay. Now take your rod, pin, rod, whatever. All right. Slide it in there. There you are. Okay. Check your float level. Make sure it's doing things. Blow in this side and make sure that it doesn't get past there, because when the needle is down, it should not have any flow of the fuel. Okay. Now let's flip it back over and make sure it blows through. All right, awesome. Now we are ready to assemble the bowl. Okay, here's your little gasket there. Put that right on there. Yeah, you could tell how new these are, how new this is, because that blue is an OEM original equipment gasket. Again, things do not have to be super tight, but they do have to be snug. So go ahead and as soon as it seats, give it a little turn. That's it. Alrighty. We are ready to go back on the machine. Okay. We are ready to put on our, so remember that we had that gasket all set up the exact way that it came out. I'm going to put that to the side. Okay. Now we are ready. Let me show you. There's a larger hole and a smaller hole. Do you see which one is the larger? Okay. So now that goes right in there like that. Okay. Let's put this right on there for ease of installation for the spring here. So we're just going to go ahead and pivot this a little bit and put the spring right inside that hole. A little bit easier said than done, but we can get it. Just take your time. Do not stretch that little spring because your tolerances will be off. Let's go like this. Let's put this spring on there first and try. I don't like putting the spring on there first sometimes because you run the risk of stretching it a little bit, but it looks like it's going to do it just fine. So put this one on there like that. Okay. Now before you do anything else, go ahead and put your fuel line back on, because you're going to be fighting it if you have this shoved all the way to the back in it. and you forget to put it on there. Okay, now put your gasket back on. Make sure that all your holes are lined up, like I said, that hole's lined up and that little groove right there and that. Okay, now take your cover. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and you're going to stick this hose inside here. Okay, stick it right inside that hole there. All right, now let's see here, stick it inside there and then line those up like so. Where is that at? Okay, there we go. Alrighty, let's line those up there all together. Okay, now you might have to get a pair of needle nose and stick that line down inside that hole there a little bit better. Okay, now we got that all lined up. Now I know that I took it off with an impact, but I like to reinstall these by hand to get a nice, good, firm snug, but not too much. So that's the reason why we're not going to be using the impact to put these back on. We'll be using a socket and a ratchet. Like I said, we're going to be putting rec fuel back in there. So hopefully we'll slow down that ethanol problem, huh? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up a little bit. Alrighty. Put this back on. Okay. Let's get some fresh non-ethanol fuel in there. And let's crank her back up and see how we did. Alright, got the door open. Let's turn that on. It might take a second to fill up the bowl here. Let's crank her up. All right, no more hunting. Fantastic. I really appreciate everybody following along today and supporting the channel. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And like always, remember, it's just nuts and bolts, and God bless. Nice little unit.